Hey there, so today we have another review. This is a food and beer pairing. It's another, okay, back laughing, this is my second take. So I just reviewed the Doppelbock and I actually have flan here. This is actually flan from a local place. We've lived in this apartment for about 2.5 years now, and there's a place we should keep driving by. We're like very rural in the middle of nowhere, so there are very few restaurants in the area. We keep driving by it and like never stop by. And most recently, like less than a month ago, we started trying it. And it's very good. I will say, for all things I have to say, there are a lot of Mexican places around here. Like there's an endless amount. Like I couldn't like try them all. I mean, I guess I could, but like it's for density, I would say it's like chain food, which there's so much of that, fast food chain, blah blah blah. But there's a lot of mom and pop, just tiny Mexican places like doing tortillas and like tacos and burritos, like all that like normal stuff that you get that I'm used to from New York, like just mom and pop little like shops. And this one's like not even a shop, but anyway, it's by me. Flan. So flan, this is milk, egg, sugar, condensed, evaporated milk, syrup, and flour. So it's like a flan. I mean, it's like sort of like a pudding. Yeah. Best analogy would be like caramel pudding with eggs. Yeah. It has more rigidity to it, so it's almost like Jell-O. I mean, you guys can see like it, it's not like out of the pack kind of pudding, but it has like a texture to it. So if you've never had flan, try it out. That's a kind of gummy, kind of like Jell-O texture to it, but instead of like clearness, it is evaporated milk, eggs, vanilla. I suspect, well, they call it syrup, so I mean, I don't know if it's like vanilla, but quite nice. And I'm curious how it pairs with the Doppelbock. See, that's a good pairing. That's quite a nice pairing. So I find that this is a little bit one-dimensional right over here. Yeah, the eggs, evaporated milk, it's sweet. It's literally custard. So if you're having, if is that a better descriptor for you, custard. It's egg custard. And then what Doppelbock comes in is it offers a nice contrast. I found this beer a little too sharp, a little muddled, but what it does here is that it has all those counterpoints I was getting here. I found a little like too much hoppiness in here. A little bit roast plays just perfectly into that. Wow. Because what this needs is a little bit of cut. And that's what I recommend with desserts. Like don't do compliment on like sweet on sweet. That's not fun. This is malty, but I wouldn't say it's a sweet beer, right? It's very malty, but like that doesn't necessarily mean sweet. Granted, in the larger picture of things, Doppelbock is a relatively quote unquote sweet beer, but So what this lacks in like complexity of like it's the sweetness is sugar, syrup, the eggs, evaporated milk. What any lacking complexity to this dessert is filled up by this, because now you're adding the Maillard on top of that, right? Now you're thinking about imagining like creme brulee. That's what it is. You're making creme brulee basically. Yeah, that's what you're doing. You're adding this kind of like light roast character, all the Maillard, and when you char the top of a creme brulee, you're doing that to this, and that's fantastic. Wow. Excuse me. I mean, not the best pairing I've ever had, but it's a very good one. And the hops just slice into it quite nicely. You actually don't even know that this is a relatively bitter Doppelbock. You echo flavors of creme brulee. You bridge sort of the sweetness with the maltiness. Those are complementary flavors as well. And you get a nice contrast. Hops and roasts slice into this relatively sweet dessert. Now you're refreshed. I'm not a sweets guy. The amount I ate for you guys on camera is something I would never do. But with the dessert, I can definitely do that. So that's one of the advantages. Like for me, I'm not a guy that eats with food and beer. I like having food and I like having beer. But for study purposes and for my, education, I'm doing it for you guys. And this is a pairing that makes for enjoyment. out of the two. Like, I generally wouldn't have liked this that much. I generally wouldn't have liked that this much, or this that much. But two together, I'm like crushing it. I don't know if you guys are watching me. I'm crushing this. Probably not good for the gut, but really nice. Yeah, that's tasty. And the other thing I noticed is that the alcohol cuts into the sweetness and decadence, like that eggy richness and the sweetness of it, and all that evaporated milk, the dairy sliced into it by the alcohol quite nicely. So that's another cut that you want to call. So fantastic pairing. Try it out. Try it out. I mean, you won't be able to specifically find this Doppelbock, but if you have anything with like a light hint of roast character, where we can go with this guy? We can go brown ales, maybe. Anything with like that richness. A lot of Maillard and maybe a hint of roast. You turn your flan into creme brulee, and that's a fantastic pairing. Until next time, guys. Cheers. Thank you for letting me just talk about beer and food. Enjoyable. And I'm going to enjoy this. Cheers. Later.